Testing one, two, three. Okay, there we go. See, man, it's always something with StreamYard. People said they hate to restream, get on StreamYard, start the live stream, and then it disconnects me immediately. So I'm in the car right now. We're just driving, going to Zaxby's, going to get some food. So this is gonna be a real short live. But I just wanted to say that this is a very good fight. To all the people that are saying this is not a good fight, they don't know boxing. And what that sets us up for is this. One, if Joshua loses because he's saying Franklin is not worthy, then that pretty much puts a fork in his career. He's done. He's done. Put a fork in him because Franklin's not any good. But here's the thing, and Franklin said this in an interview after the press conference. He said, you know, just because I beat Anthony Joshua doesn't mean he's a bad fighter. What if I go on to beat more undefeated fighters? And then I beat another undefeated fighter. Then I beat another undefeated fighter. See what I'm saying? Jermaine Franklin's just now writing his history. He's just now getting to tell his story. He's just now become, I guess you could call him a semi-star. He's on the big stage twice now in a row. Probably more known in the UK than in America, outside of like diehard people like me. Um, but again, my whole thing with this whole fight is this. Had Jermaine Franklin got the win he deserved against Dillian White, nobody would be calling this a bad fight. Nobody, not one person will be saying that Jermaine Franklin shouldn't be in there with Anthony Joshua. It's only because he got the loss he did not deserve that people say that this is a bad fight. That people say that AJ needs to be in bigger fights than this. This is a step back for Anthony Joshua. And I disagree. Because Dillian White was a top 10 globally ranked heavyweight. Even after being knocked out by Tyson Fury, he was still a top 10. He might be a top 10 right now with the gifted win over Franklin. So, Jermaine Franklin, who was a virtual unknown fighter, went in there and beat Dillian White, was robbed, but he was virtually unknown, never stepped up to the highest level like Dillian has, and he beat him, and he was robbed. So again, I must say, had Jermaine Franklin been an undefeated fighter, 23-0, I believe he would be right now, because I think he's 22-1. Nobody would be screaming that this is a mismatch. Nobody would be saying that Franklin doesn't deserve to fight AJ. Because if anything, in my opinion, the UK fans are screaming for AJ to fight Dillian White, and in my opinion, Jermaine Franklin's way more deserving of this fight because he beat Dillian. And I'm saying that as a white fan. I like Dillian White. But I got to be honest. Dillian lost that fight. And the only reason why people don't give Jermaine Franklin a chance is because he was robbed. Because he's not undefeated like he was going in there against Dillian White. That's it. That's all it is. It's a bunch of casuals who don't know shit about boxing, who talk shit about boxers they know nothing about because they judge them off of aesthetics or whatever it be. But they've never seen these fighters fight. They've never seen one competition they've ever been in, but they're going to go ahead and judge them. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how people could say that Anthony Joshua should be fighting Dillian White right now instead of the guy who beat him, knowing that Jermaine Franklin got robbed. That's crazy to me. What's going on, Prodigal? Apparently, Anthony Joshua is just about acquiring big bags. Yeah, I disagree with that. Because here's what I told another channel. And I say this all the time, and I've said it for years now. Like, if you go back for years now, I say, I love time. Because time, with enough time, all will be revealed. And I'm normally, most of the time, proven right by time. And here's the thing. There's no big bag in this. AJ just took a huge step backwards in his marketability. It's reflected in where he's fighting. He's fighting in the O2 Arena. He's not fighting in Wembley. He's not fighting in the Middle East. He's going to where he started. He is literally going back to the arena that he started in. By UK terms, a small arena. I think the O2 maximum capacity from what I saw was 20,000 people. That's it. Now, this is a guy who was selling 60, 70,000 tickets a fight. And Eddie knows, like I said so long ago, that those losses, he took a hit. They're not even taking a gamble or putting him in a 60,000 attendance stadium. He's going to a maximum capacity of 20,000 at the O2, which tells you everything you need to know. They don't know if AJ is still going to sell the same. So the idea, the notion, the narrative that he's taking this fight for a bag, in my opinion, is stupid. Because the arena tells the opposite story. Well, no doubt gets the lion's share of the purse in this fight. Well, yeah, he's going to get the lion's share without a doubt. This is not what I believe either. Yeah. I'm not saying you did or did not, Prodigal. I'm just saying, in my honest opinion, I think that's a stupid quote. Because if they was after the bag, they wouldn't be putting them in the O2 Arena. The O2 Arena is where you go when you're not so sure if you're going to make a bag. He would be in Wembley, but he's not. So that's the thing I'm looking at. They could have made the Dillian White fight, even though Dillian White should have lost to Jermaine Franklin. But my feeling is this. Eddie knew that no matter what, they would be fighting in the O2 Arena. So being that Tyson Fury just fought Dillian White, did 60,000 attendance, 60,000. Do you know how bad it would have looked if AJ would have fought Dillian White and it didn't do nowhere near them numbers? See, certain things are strategic and they're thought about and they're strategized. In my opinion, thinking about it, reading that quote, I don't think Eddie wanted to risk him not getting 60,000. Risk him fighting Dillian White and not doing the numbers that Tyson Fury did with him. That's what I think. So, again, if they were looking for a bag-type fight, they would have went for Zhilei Zhang, who's now fighting Joe Joyce. They would have went for Dillian White. They would have went for, even Otto Wallin would have been much bigger. There's so many names they could have picked over Jermaine Franklin that would have been for the bag. And I'm going to be honest with you, stylistically, I think Jermaine Franklin is more of a threat to AJ than Zhilei Zhang. I think this is a much harder fight. And I think that fans who don't know anything about boxing are not giving Franklin the credit that he's owed. And it goes both ways. Here's what's so bad about it. If AJ loses, then they're going to say he beat a guy who didn't belong in the ring with him. I mean, I'm sorry. If AJ wins, they're going to say AJ beat a guy that didn't belong in the ring with him. However, if AJ loses, they're going to say he needs to retire. While at the same time saying that Franklin only beat AJ because he was diminished. He was no longer the same fighter. Because I already heard UK people trying to make that excuse with Dillian White. There was like, oh, well, Jermaine Franklin, yeah, he should have won the fight. Maybe a lot of people thought he won the fight, but he really wasn't fighting the real Dillian White. It was a diminished Dillian White. Like, why do these excuses come into play when a fighter that you may or may not like, a fighter that you may or may not know, comes in and beats your guy? He beat him. There's no excuses there. Jermaine Franklin should get a lot more credit than what he's being given. He should be an undefeated fighter right now. He should have a win over Dillian White right now. He should be going in there against AJ on a high. But instead, There's a contested disputed loss that he's got, but he's in good spirits. And my only thing is this: if AJ loses to Jermaine Franklin, it doesn't mean AJ's a bum. It doesn't mean he lost to a bum. It means Jermaine Franklin's a lot better than what people are giving him credit for. And if he goes out there and he blitzes Jermaine Franklin and beats him like people believe he should do, that doesn't mean that he beat a bum. It means he beat a good fighter in Jermaine Franklin, who, again, I must restate and keep restating this, should have beat Dillian White. He did beat Dillian White, and he was robbed in the Dillian White fight. I've seen people go as far as they thought Franklin won 8-4. Bruh, you're not about to get in front of me. I don't know why the fuck you keep inching out, but I will get out and beat your ass. Anyway, sorry. Don't have road rage. And don't cut people in line. Anyways, I digress. Back to the Zaxby's line. Again, it's just, the whole thing is ridiculous to me. It's asinine. This dude's not gonna pull up. Okay, cool. We'll just sit like this. But anyways, let me drop the link real fast in case you want to jump on Prodigal. I'm about to get some food. As soon as I do, the stream's gonna end. I just wanted to get on here and, just let a little bit of this steam off, that people aren't giving Jermaine Franklin the credit he deserves. All right, I dropped the link. If you want to hop on, chop it up with me for a few moments. Like I said, this is going to be going on much longer, because this was just going to be really, 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 really short. Hrgovic, Dubois, Heck, Michael Hunter should have got the nod. You know what? I'm going to say this. Hrgovic, I don't think he could beat Jermaine Franklin. Daniel Dubois, maybe he could beat him. And I don't think Michael Hunter could beat him. Now, you good, man. Out of them names that you named, only maybe Dubois would beat Jermaine Franklin. And that's just because Dubois got a hard punch. But if it comes down to it, Dubois ain't got no heart. He was ready to fold in his last fight, and the dude quit fighting. So there's a strong possibility that everybody you named right there, Jermaine Franklin could beat. There's like a real strong possibility Jermaine Franklin could beat Hrgovic, Dubois, and Michael Hunter. And that's the thing that drives me so insane about this. It's not the fact that 4 years ago, before Jermaine Franklin was known to anybody, I was on another boxing channel and said I thought this dude was a good prospect. It's not that fact. It's the fact that the dude can fight, and he proved it in his last fight. And the fact that he gets no credit for proving that he could fight in his last fight is ridiculous to me. Because the dude's not a bad fighter. He's just not. Is he elite? That's yet to be seen. Is he an A-class fighter? I would say yeah, because he should have beat Dillian White. Dillian White, is he elite? No. For Dillian, he can't be elite because he lost to Povetkin, even though he avenged that loss, but he was knocked out. And he got knocked out again by the same uppercut by Tyson Fury. And when he fought AJ, he lost. So Dillian White is a good, strong A-level fighter, but he's not elite because he's never beat anybody on that upper echelon to be considered elite. He's good. He's up there, but he's not an elite fighter. He's an A-level fighter. And I say he's an A-level fighter because he's beat some top 10 fighters. He's beat undefeated fighters like Oscar Rivas, who is now the Bridgerweight champion. So Dillian he beat Joseph Parker, who was an ex-heavyweight world champion. So he has good wins. But is he elite? I would not say he is. But being that Jermaine Franklin got in there and beat him, You have to say that Jermaine's on the same level. You have to say that he's an A-level fighter. You just have to. There's no getting around that. He's an A-level fighter. So, in my opinion, how was AJ taking a step back? Had Jermaine Franklin got the win over Dillian White, he would have a better win than Daniel Dubois. He would have a better win than Hrgovic. He would have a better win than Michael Hunter. He would have a better win than any of the guys at the top. Jermaine Franklin would have a better win on his resume than any of them guys had he got the win he deserved. So again, I don't understand this whole thing that, oh, this is a gimme fight. This isn't a good fight. Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Let me see. Martin Butler said, AJ looking bigger. I like to see it. I'm right there with you. I've been saying for so long now that he needs to gain weight. Being skinny, little AJ has got him 2 losses in 4 fights. 2 losses in 4 fights. No knockdowns in 3 of those 4 fights. He's a power puncher. He's a power puncher who has not hurt 2 fighters in 3 fights. The only person he hurt and dropped was Pulev, who was old and passed it. So, again, skinny AJ, I don't think he was ever good. And it's reflected in his record. Big AJ, the one with only 1 loss because he got reckless to Ruiz, that's the one that needs to come back. That's the one that should have showed up to fight Usyk. So I like to see that Derek James has put weight on him. Let me go through this. I'm about to have to say be right back. Order this food. Let me see. White is fringe world / European level to me at this time. I mean, I don't know if I could say that. Because White's only lost to Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, who was arguably the best guy of the era. Anthony Joshua is in the top 4 of this era. And then Povetkin, who was an elite of his level. The only person to beat Povetkin outside of Anthony Joshua was Klitschko. Everybody else lost to him. So Dillian's only lost to elite level fighters. And there's no shame in that. But because he's only lost to elites and never beat an elite, you can't call him elite. So I would say he's much higher than a fringe world European level fighter, in my opinion. I think he's a world-class fighter. Franklin is arguably better at this stage than White, in my opinion. Well, there's no argument, in my opinion, because he beat White. He beat him. This is definitely not a step back for AJ. It's a good fight to build it. I disagree with that, though, my dude. See, here we go again. A good fight to build AJ's confidence. That's like saying Franklin has no chance. He's going to lose. I don't think this is a confidence-building fight. And if AJ thinks it is, if Eddie Hearn thinks it is, they're going to be in for a rude awakening, a big surprise, a shock when they get in there with them. And Franklin's not there to be put down. Franklin's not there to lose, not there to let AJ work. So that's what I'm saying. It's this narrative of stick with it's a good fight. But a confidence builder, I disagree. Yes, beating him will raise his confidence, of course. But it's much more than just a confidence-building fight because it's a dangerous fight that people don't understand how dangerous it is. Let me see. Dubois can't beat anybody with a pulse. It's looking that way, especially after his last fight and when he fought Joe Joyce. You see, this is a dangerous fight for AJ. He has a good chin. I agree. It's very dangerous. All right, I'm going to put my mic on mute. I'll be right back. Give me like 3-4 minutes to order this food. I'll be right back. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys, check this shit out. Let me tell y'all something, right? I'm gonna tell y'all. I just did the dumbest thing ever. I grabbed, I grabbed my driver's license and work badge instead of my fucking debit card. I'm not driving in my car, so I pulled the shit out of my wallet, and I did not grab my debit card. I didn't pay attention. So now we driving back without food. It's cool. I just ordered a pizza real fast that I could pick up because the information's already saved. But I really wanted Zaxby's. I really wanted Zaxby's. So now I got to drive somewhere else because my dumb ass forgot my debit card. It's crazy. All right, let me get back to the chat. Let's see. If AJ beats Franklin, a possible route back to a world title may be a Hrgovic fight for IBF mandatory. And that's is if Wilder fights Ruiz. Yeah, I mean, what's his options? His options are he somehow gets a Deontay Wilder fight, because I'm going to assume now that Wilder's going to beat Ruiz. So he's got to get a Deontay Wilder fight to be a WBC mandatory. He's got to fight Joe Joyce to be, is it the WBO for Joyce? IBF is Hrgovic, and the WBA is Daniel Dubois. So he's got to fight one of them four guys next to have a shot at a title. That's his only options. So you got, like I said, you got Joyce, Wilder, Hrgovic, or Daniel Dubois. Out of those four, I think Daniel Dubois would be the easiest to beat. Hrgovic being next. I would say it's a toss-up. I don't know if Joe Joyce or Deontay Wilder is harder. Joe Joyce is going to give AJ a lot of opportunities to hit him, and he's very slow. However, he could break AJ down and really break him down bad. Deontay Wilder, AJ should technically be better, but if he gets caught, is he going to... Yo, somebody just beeping their fucking horn for no reason. If AJ gets caught against Wilder, now I don't know if he stays on his feet. So it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up to me. It's a real toss-up. Let me see here. Franklin is coming to win, is going to make an exciting fight. I agree. I really do agree. Now, if AJ comes in there, what I think he's going to come in there around 250, I think is a strong possibility he can knock Franklin out. If he comes in there at 250. However, if Derrick James, which it doesn't look like he is, but the training camp just started, so I don't know. If Derrick James makes AJ stay around the low 240s, I don't know who wins the fight. I really don't. It's a real good possibility that Franklin beats him. Because, you've got to be insane to keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different result. You got to be. You got to be insane. That's the only thing that recollects with me. If AJ stays in his low 240s, high 230s, and loses, he did it to himself because he has not learned. He's no good small. He's just not. But Derrick James, all of his fighters are big. Errol Spence is big outside of competition, 190. I've heard people talk about the Charlos look about 180 outside of competition. And being that he fights at 154, that's big. So hopefully the same mentality stays with AJ and they get him back up to around 250. Especially if he's going to be a pressure fighter like Derrick James does. Now, me personally, do I think AJ is best as a pressure fighter? Not really. I think he was best he's best at mid-range counterpunching. That's where I would train him. But as far as like being this seek and destroy style fighter, I don't think he's his best at that. Let's go here. All right, this is a long one. You're gonna write an article for me, Prodigal, while I'm driving. So we're gonna try to do this. Here we go. The confidence comes from him needing this fight with a light body where he can lose. But with the question, can he operate at high levels again, the same as Lennox Lewis came back after his losses? Yeah, but you know, I mean, to me, Lennox Lewis is different than Anthony Joshua. It's different. Like if Ruiz was the only loss that AJ had, I would say that that's a good comparison. But when you look at Lennox Lewis, the two losses that he suffered, he was winning those fights. He got caught on the chin and went nighty-night. AJ, in his last two fights, got extremely outboxed. It wasn't like he was winning, got caught, and got put to sleep. He got outboxed bad. School was in session. So while I understand what you're saying in the comparison about he could come back like Lennox Lewis did, he didn't lose like Lennox did. In my opinion, getting caught can happen. It's acceptable. Getting outboxed, completely outclassed, that's a lot harder to come back from. Let me see. Don't have your card info on your phone, Google Pay. Yeah, I got Apple Pay, but the thing is, I would have had to end the stream right then, and I was trying to talk, and I didn't want to go through all that. So, you know, that's why I didn't use it on my phone. What's going on, Big Say? What's going on? Welcome to the chat. We're almost at the pizza place, though. We almost there. We're going to pull up. We're going to wait about 5-6 minutes. Then we're going to walk in there. We're going to get this pizza. And then we're going to talk while I drive back home. And that's going to end the stream. Because like I said, I wasn't going to be on here for too long. It would have been much shorter had I not forgot my debit card. I'm going to drop the link one more time if anybody wants to get on before I get off. Because I don't have that much longer on here, in all honesty. I just wanted to get a little bit off my chest at how nobody's giving Jermaine Franklin a shot. And to me, that's ridiculous. And to me, it's even more ridiculous to say that the only reason why AJ would lose to Franklin is because AJ is diminished. He's not the same. Why can we not give Franklin credit for just being better than people thought he was? Why can't it just be Franklin is a hell of a lot better than what people give him credit for versus AJ's just not the same? Said Triple G gave up his IBF title. Who was he avoiding? Who was his mandatory? I didn't even see that news that he vacated. You motherfuckers. Where am I going to park now? We're going to park right here. We're going to park right here. Go get this pizza. Let me see. Who was his mandatory and why did he give it up? Franklin has a high chance of beating him. Reminds me of Ruiz AJ1. That's what I'm saying. I've been making that comparison. Short guy, likes to throw volume punches, barrage puncher, can take a punch. I've been making that comparison, Prodigal. What is Jermaine, like 6'2"? Ruiz was supposedly 6'1", even though I believe he's shorter. Some Brazilian fighter. Oh, yeah. Falco. I forgot. I forgot he was supposed to fight him. All right, let me go check on this pizza. I'll be right back, y'all. So if you try to join, just know that I'll be right back to let you on.